The game plan is brought to you by Max Jazz Games, whose game Kung Pooby you could be playing right now. Your gaming week is already sorted with Kung Pooby, available now on the iOS store. And something you just get to say the word Kung Pooby a lot. Kung Pooby. Yeah, it's just it's a fun word to say. The game plan is where we take a look at the games that come out this week so you can plan out your week in video games. Let's take a look at what is dropping this week. First up, we've got Poison Control. It's out various times depending on where you live, but most of our audience are Australian, so it's the 20th of April. This is coming out on PS4 and Switch. The blurb for Poison Control: from the worldly desires of humankind, delusions are born. These delusions, whether from the living or the dead, manifest as toxic creatures known as kleshas and bring into the world the realms of hell. Who are you? Who is Poisonette? How did you get here to begin with? So starts the tale of your journey through the Bell's Hells. That is coming out on the 20th of April.
We've Nick Boy game.
Totally, yeah. We've also got Saga Frontier, Remastered. This is coming out on the 15th of April. On PC, Switch, PS4, iOS, and Android, the 1998 PlayStation Classic is back. Saga Frontier is being remastered. The team of 8 have returned, now with Fuse. And we all know who Fuse is, added as a playable character. Choose your favorite character and embark on your own unique journey. Another unique journey coming out on the 15th of April is Shadow Man Remastered. This is coming out on PC and will be coming to consoles later on. Shadow Man, based on Valiant Comics Shadow Man series, charts the adventures of Michael Leroy, the latest in a line of voodoo warriors, all adopting the Shadow Man moniker. Originally launched on N64, PS1, Dreamcast, and PC back in 1999, Night Dive Studios' remaster, announced last summer, aims to freshen up the experience through various tweaks, enhancements, and visual improvements. A visual improvement and a very cool-looking game is coming out on the 16th of April, and that is called Ashwalkers, coming to PC. A survival journey through a harsh world without rules or judgment. Only your choices matter in the face of moral dilemmas. Manage your party, food, and equipment in this non-linear narrative survival sim with 34 possible endings. And finally, Super Meat Boy Forever. There's only one ending in Super Meat Boy, and it is death. It is coming on the 16th of April to consoles, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, S, and 1. It is out on PC at the beginning of this year already. Procedurally generated one-button auto-runner of the iconic platformer coming to you from Team Meat. Gentlemen, Angus, what game is tickling your game plan fancy this week?
I mean, I could say tickle, but also in a way that just kind of like spikes my interest to observe how it does would be Shadow Man coming out as a remaster, because I have a weird history of this game that I used to play it on the N64 when I could hire video games from my local game store. And I thought about this game literally within the month for some weird reason. I always kind of like remember this game in kind of weird little like flashes because of two things. One, it scared the hell out of me. I wasn't aware of the comic or the history or lore or anything, but this was a very strange and dark game to come out on the N64. I know it was on the PS1 as well, but it was a very sort of I guess, ambitious game to run on pretty powerless hardware for everything it was trying to do. Like, this was in that era of really clunky-looking 3D worlds when they're like, oh, we have the ability to do a whole sprawling third-person game, and it's like, you really shouldn't have, actually. And so this game just spiked my curiosity, and I would hire it, even though I was not the right age at the time, which is a bad thing. You shouldn't do that. And it was really adult for the N64. The cutscenes and stuff, and the story was really messed up. You were playing like you lived in New Orleans, but you would like, I think the lore is that he like has to kill himself so he can go back into this shadow realm, and there he has the skull in his chest, and there was some really grown-up like themes, dialogue. There was this like this character which was your sidekick, who's this like Irish accented snake with a top hat. Like, it was like nothing I'd played before, but I didn't enjoy any of it. So I kept hiring it. And the other thing was it would have save states randomly, because that's how the N64 worked. You had save states attached to the cartridge. So I saw fragments of this game due to other people's save states when I'd hire it. So yeah, it stays with me in a way that it scared me, and it was weird to be scared by a video game. And I've always thought it would be interesting to watch a playthrough of it or see how it holds up. And I've watched playthroughs on the N64 engine, and they are atrocious. Like, they are just, it's the muddiness, the graphic fidelity, all that's terrible. So they've made a remaster. Whoopee! It looks terrible. It doesn't look like it needs a remake. If you're going to do
journey,
if you were going to do anything, I would have remade this from the ground up, because it is such a cool lore and a cool character, and the way you kind of bounce in and out of this shadow world. It's like there's serial killers that hunt you as bosses, where you run around maps where there's like a guy with knives who's like screaming at you and running away. It was like, yeah, some really cool level design, but unfortunately it just has not aged well. And I think I will not be playing it, but I will be watching the reviews, because I'm very keen to see if there are hardcore fans who are super happy to play this again. But yeah, that's my takeaway from that game.
Yeah, I was not expecting that much information about Shadow Man.
I stopped hiring it because it scared me too much.
Peter, your game plan.
Ashwalker is, I mean, I've played Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is great, but Ashwalker is the one game from this week that looks like it could be up my alley. Mm-hmm. Really cool visual style, obviously. It's like cel-shaded, but black and white.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like just pencil sketching.
Which is a genre of game that you now love
I'm
playing.
super into. Things I can't remember even what it was.
Malden?
The mountain.
I don't remember. The Malglod.
The pen
whatever
game.
It was. The pen game. It's got some like little like survival RPG mechanics and stuff, and looks like a cute little adventure.
Cute.
Don't really know much about it. This is obviously work in progress footage as well, so I don't know what it's going to look like when it comes out this week.
That color and context.
They hadn't filled in the color yet.
Yeah, the one thing that made it unique.
The promise of all the endings. Does that do anything for you, Pete?
Not really.
He's never going to make it to the end of it.
Yeah, I might not, but it might be interesting once I'm into it. The idea of 34 endings just sounds like, if it's 3 endings, it's like, oh, cool, they put heaps
3
of
well-written
time into
endings.
3 ideas. But 34 is like, oh, they're all slight variations because you lost your shoe back there, so now you're barefoot in the final cutscene.
No, you have a limp.
Yeah, and I think you could probably go, there are 4 or 5 party members, and depending on which ones make it to the end of the story, that's your ending. Like, it's not massive, but we'll see. It does have a very cool look. And for me, Gus, you tipped it. It's Poison Control. This game will either be terrible or terrible, but with something to it. NIS publish games that games that no one else publishes, I guess, like really unique titles. Poison Control, I think that the shooting does not look particularly appealing to me, but there is something here where I'm like, oh, this could be a cool... It reminds me a bit of Catherine, I guess, of like when you look at Catherine and you go, what is this game? And then when you play it, you go, this is a lot of weird things put together that shouldn't work, but somehow actually come together as a cohesive whole. I remember actually from the same developers, so not only just from NIS, but from Nippon Software themselves. I loved this game on PSP called What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord, which was this weird base building, kind of like Terraria.
What did I do to spank me, daddy?
And the titles are just so huge. It's amazing.
And in Australia, it was released as Holy Invasion of Privacy Bad Man. What did I do to deserve this? And it was the weirdest Terraria base building bizarre knockoff where I can't even begin to describe it, but it was one of those things where you go, oh, actually playing it, this thing holds together when it really shouldn't have. So,
and has a gameplay style that relates in no way to the title in any way. You would not have picked that that's a Terraria-based like building game based on that title.
Oh, 100%. So I'm going to see. I think I'll wait for the reviews of Poison Control and then go from there. But yeah, out of all of these, that's probably the one I'd Super Meat Boy Forever's been out for PC for a while.
Yeah.
I still haven't picked it up. The idea of it being an auto runner, even though I've heard it runs pretty well, just removes the thing from Super Meat Boy that I really love, which is that like fine-tuned control. So
also, you can blame more mistakes on the auto running than yourself, and that's one thing I really liked about Super Meat Boy. It's like the punishment of like
Yeah, but I love auto runners, and like the Meat Boy package of like the meaty slap when you die. Like, I'm cool with that being in my temple run, basically.
Yeah, cool.
Fair enough.
So that is what's coming out this week. Now you know what's dropping. You can tell us what your game plan is. I dropped a very heavy crystal, and I don't know if you picked it up on the microphone, but
don't know if we heard it on the microphone, but it definitely distracted you when it stabbed you in the loins.
It did, yeah. So there we go. That's a little treat for everyone watching on Twitch.